Have you ever wondered why some people, despite numerous warnings, seem to persist in their ways, completely unfazed? Even the prophet Amos was baffled by the stubbornness of the Israelites, who time and again ignored God's warnings without a second thought. First came the warning of famine due to a lack of grain, followed by the warning of drought due to insufficient rainfall. Then came blight and locusts, followed by the punishment of plague, war and slaughter, and finally, the punishment of a city's overthrow. Yet God said, "They still do not return to me." A philosopher once said, "The biggest prison in the world is the mind of a man." Sticking to a rigid perspective on everything happening around us, dwelling in our own self-righteousness, only traps us deeper in our own mental cages. Were the Israelites stuck in such a prison? From a psychological perspective, people can become deluded when they fail to distinguish between objective and subjective, reality and hypothesis. When they habitually impose their own experiences over reality, obstinance sets in. There was a friend I knew who was generally a steady and reliable person, but he had a stubborn streak. Once, he bought a beautiful fish tank from a second-hand market. He wanted to keep some fish at home but didn't know how to care for them, so he just fed them every day. At first, the goldfish seemed agile, but after a few days, something seemed off. A neighbor told him, "You have to change the water in the fish tank regularly, or the fish will die." But he insisted that the fish's lethargy had nothing to do with the water. He believed that varying the fish food and feeding them more would suffice. Can you guess what happened not long after? All the fish died, yet he still keeps the fish tank, claiming he prefers the tank over the fish as keeping fish is too much trouble. Stubbornness can lead to mistakes, even harm. This is particularly true in religious faith. As John the Baptist said, "He must increase, but I must decrease." This speaks to the process of letting go of our own stubborn thoughts, allowing the life of God to grow within us. However, Christianity is not psychology, and reading the Bible is not about seeking answers from psychological principles. So how does the Bible view a nation or an individual who persistently defies, does not learn from teachings, and continually strays from God? From a dualistic perspective, there are two types of factors, internal and external. Ephesians says, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places." These principalities and powers refer to the world views, life perspectives and values that govern your life and thoughts, influencing the specifics of our lives and our methodology. When a person's thoughts are contaminated by the dark forces of wrong knowledge and perceptions, the innocence of the soul becomes completely consumed. Materialism, hedonism, indulgence and utilitarianism then guide this person's actions. The internal factor is human sinfulness, which is innate. Just like a child does not need to be taught how to lie, envy, hate or be arrogant. It's just that the extent of manifestation varies among individuals, but ultimately it leads people further away from God. As the ancients said, human nature is inherently flawed. It encompasses natural emotional desires such as food, color, joy, anger, likes, dislikes, and greed. If these natural factors are allowed to develop unchecked, they lead to negative outcomes, reflecting human sinfulness from another angle. In summary, the Bible teaches us that stubbornness, whether it's rooted in our innate sinfulness or influenced by external factors, can lead us astray. It's a reminder to remain open to change and learning, to let go of our own stubborn thoughts, and allow the life of God to grow within us.